There's no going
So you
back.
can do what you wanna do. You can do what you wanna do.
Hello artists, it's Dalene FM here with day 20 of the 365 journey. It's really good to have reached 20 days. I've had so much fun in the last 3 weeks. Tomorrow will be 21 days, 3 weeks. I can't believe it. Now if you're drawing every day and dedicating a small amount of time each day to doing some drawing, that's great. It's a good thing to do. If you're not, if you're spending a lot of time in other artistic endeavors, painting or your sculpture, whatever it might be, I implore you to consider setting aside an amount of time, be it a half an hour or an hour each day, to do drawing, whether it be a drawing, actual drawing picture, or if it's drawing and doing a drawing exercise like this, that we're about to go through. I really believe that drawing is your single biggest asset for whatever else you do in art, whatever your art discipline is. Drawing is your single biggest asset, and it's something that you need to keep up. Drawing is going to train your hand-eye coordination, and it's going to encourage right brain thinking, and generally make you a better artist, make you more accurate in whatever it is that you do. There's a small difference in the way that your brain works between drawing and painting, and the skills that you learn from drawing will only be honed by the drawing itself. So it's really important that you keep it up. The nice thing about drawing is that it's line work and tone work and everything else but color. So you're able to really focus on those skills that drawing teaches you. So yes, it's really important for you to set aside a small amount of time each day if you really want to hone your skills. One of the things that you can do is when you're sitting having a cup of coffee, for example, you can just sit and sketch your coffee cup, or when you're sitting in front of the TV, you can do these drawing exercises. There's all sorts of things that you can do. Just carve out a small amount of time each day. It's really important. Sometime soon in our journey, we're going to start working on the principles and the elements of art. So I think this exercise is important to cover before we get there, because I think this is going to be your foundation for everything else that is to come. Okay, now the reason I've got the camera at an angle here is because I want you to see what I'm doing. We're going to start off with a rather large piece of paper. It's probably a good idea not to get terribly expensive paper. Probably get yourself some inexpensive newsprint or something. The first thing we want to do is we want to work from our shoulder through our elbow to our wrist. Keep your wrist nice and still, and I want you to work in big figure of eights. Now the whole idea is to try and make this figure of eight as accurate as possible. Go over and over and over and over in the same path, and you want to try to get to a point where your pencil is going over the same path repeatedly, as little as what's happening here as possible. And that's only going to be with practice. The more you practice this, because this is your elbow and your shoulder that is coming into doing this drawing, the more you practice this, the better your accuracy will become. Because what you're doing with exercises like this is you're exercising your hand-eye coordination and your fine motor skills. Now if you spend any amount of time drawing and you find yourself thinking you want to draw a line from A to B, and when you draw it, it doesn't end in the right place, that's not lack of talent as much as what it is just lack of practice. So I can't stress enough how important it is to do these practice exercises. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to work our elbow. Okay, now we want to start, hold your pencil still, keep your wrist still, and use your elbow as the pivot point. Okay, we're working down the arm now. So you're going to do big sweeping arcs, and the same thing, you want to try and get that pencil to maintain the same path each time. It's accuracy that you're looking at here, and just keep doing it. Now if you keep your pencil still and you keep your elbow still, you should get a relatively accurate line here. It's not really difficult to do that. The next thing we want to do is the same exercise, but using the wrist as the pivot point. Now you want to go as far down and as far back as what your wrist will reach. You want to start getting to know what your wrist is capable, the range of movement that your wrist is capable of achieving. Okay, backwards and forwards. You're only drawing in one direction. So I'm drawing from left to right, lift my pencil, left to right, lift my pencil. So you're just going in. You can go backwards and forwards, but it's not necessary. Backwards and forwards across from point A to point B with your wrist. Okay, then you want to do the same thing with your fingers. We're going to keep our arms still everywhere else, and we're just going to do the extension of the fingers, and we're going to be drawing the same arc from A to B. Go from your extreme, from A to B. Just get in that arc as accurately as possible. So then, once you've done that a couple of times, we can start working from a point to a point. Now this is all, this range of motion is going to come in from one point to the next. You want to go across from A to B, A to B. And you're trying to achieve accuracy. Now, if you have a look over there, you can see one of my lines was a little bit too high. That's the type of thing you're trying to reduce. You want your hand to completely obey your brain. Now, a good idea is to do some lines close to you here, do some lines far away from you here, because you'll find that the further away you get from your body, the more difficult it is to control. So lines closer to you will be more accurate than lines that are further away. So once you've done your straight line exercises a few times, you're going to do another exercise where you're going to do 3 dots, and you're going to join the dots with curves. So now it's changing of direction from point A through B to C, changing of direction. And again, you're trying to maintain that same, whoa, I went really wrong there. And really, artists, that's all it is. It's a daily exercise, it's a daily repetition of doing these things will definitely go a long way to making your drawing more accurate. You will find over a relatively short space of time that your hand becomes almost more obedient to your brain. If you want to draw a profile of a face, you'll find it a lot more accurate, because you'll find with these exercises that your fine motor skills become far more attuned to your right side of your brain. Now, it's a good warm-up exercises to do this as well. So if you are going to sit down to do a drawing, then spend 10 minutes doing warm-up exercises, doing this for 10 minutes. Get your shoulder moving, get your elbows moving, do your wrist range motion, and then start your drawing, because that will also kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Number one, it will loosen up your arm, and it will get your right brain into drawing mode. There's a couple of different exercises that you can do to get into right brain mode. And further down the line, we will definitely have a conversation about right brain, left brain, and how to slot into right brain mode. But this is one of them. So I wanted to cover this nice and early so that we can use this exercise as a basis for all the drawing we do from here going forward. But when we get to right brain, left brain conversations, we're going to go through some other exercises as well. But that is more to do with the brain itself and how to get your brain functioning as an artist. This is to do with your hand and your brain. How to operate with your pencil, how to get your shoulder and your elbow into it. It's like any other exercise. Practice, practice, practice. Your muscles get attuned to it, your brain gets attuned to it, and eventually you will build up such a good muscle memory that it will look almost effortless. If you sit and watch artists that are drawing a profile of a face and it just falls into place almost effortlessly, it's because they've spent hours and hours and hours doing it. Whether it be the actual profile of the face or whether it be exercises like this. But I strongly implore you, it's incredibly important to spend time drawing. Really, if you're a sculptor or if you're a painter, whatever it is, the artistic medium that you choose, drawing is the foundation of everything. So if there's one thing that I can recommend to artists above anything else, draw every day. Draw something. Draw for 10 minutes. Draw for an hour. Just draw something every day. Okay, artist, well, that's my story for today. It's a nice quick little video, and we're going to start getting into some more meaty stuff soon. As you might have noticed, the last few videos are laying down some foundations, and pretty soon we'll be creating amazing artworks together. So thank you so much again for joining me. I ask you please to share and like and subscribe. Share it with your friends and invite your friends to join the group. And thank you very much for joining me once again, and we'll see you in day 21. How cool is that? Bye.
That's what you want to do.